All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Secondhand Smoke. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share with a friend. So, to address a couple of elephants in the room or the Elon in the room, I recently moved and I haven't yet decided what I'm going to do with the studio with as far as the background and things like that go. So bear with me. But I don't have any issue with Elon. This photo is from his time on the Joe Rogan Experience. I believe it was his first time on there. I could be wrong. And he and Joe Rogan shared a joint or a blunt. Either way, they had a conversation over some pot, and Elon received a lot of negative backlash in the media for it, but I thought it was a really cool thing to see one of the most brilliant and most successful men of our time, uh, share a joint, which back in the day was known to make you dumber and, all that other stuff. So a stoner like myself found that as a really cool time and I guess stoner history, if you will. I bought this thing long before Elon became enemy of the state, if you will. So, just kind of cool that he became the person that's fighting for free speech more than anyone. So, and some people don't like the thought of free speech, which is just wild. Um, so thank you, Mr. Musk, for everything that you're doing for the country. Much appreciated. So let's jump right into it. Former President Donald Trump pleads not guilty to classified document charges. So I'm not going to lie. This doesn't look good for Trump at all. Like, they're saying that he could potentially not even run. Some folks are saying that he wouldn't be able to post ballots in certain states. I don't know. I'm not the expert on this. But I do just want to take a deep dive into this. And once again, before we get started, major shout out to comic Dave Smith. His Part of the Problem podcast is definitely a good listen. He makes it easy for folks like you and I to understand what the hell's going on. So he's anti-war, which I'm big on, and he's just seems like an all-around good dude, and he's pretty funny. So check him out at Part of the Problem. That's the name of his podcast, and I just wanted to give a major shout out to him because he pointed out something that I thought was very interesting about these documents. So let's dive right into it. Pleads not guilty to document charges, 37 charges related to alleged mishandling of classified documents. They said that they found these documents in Trump's bathroom, I guess, at the Mar-a-Lago home, I believe. And the biggest thing to me about these documents and everything is just the fact that, number one, right on the surface, let's play fair. There's been plenty of people in our recent history who has been caught with documents. They said Bill Clinton, former president, had tapes in his drawer, in his sock drawer. I don't know what those tapes were, but they said that he wasn't supposed to have them, and I guess he had to give them back. Even recently, let's see, our sitting president now, January 9th, 2023, classified documents from Biden's time as vice president discovered in private office. So, even Biden has had documents. And the difference between Biden and Trump, I would say, and what other people are saying, is that Trump has the right to unclassified documents. Biden does not have the right as vice president to unclassified documents. So just the fact that he had these documents after his, even during, but especially after his time, I mean, how, 10 years after his time as vice president, 8 years. So he's holding on to documents. Clinton had tapes. uh Trump recently made a comparison from himself to Hillary Clinton, because she had documents. I'm sure if you remember the 2016 running, he was saying lock her up. He was saying, and that's a very interesting statement right there. I'm going to get back to the lock her up. I'll try to remember that. But, he was saying lock her up. She's got these documents she's not supposed to have. Check her emails, check her emails. So our good friends over at CNN did a fact check on Trump's self-serving comparison to Hillary Clinton's classified emails. So Trump compared his situation to Hillary, saying that, like, how come, she gets to have documents and she's not even supposed to have them? And I actually had the right to have these documents. And, they want to try to chase me down and stop me from running for president and yada, yada, yada. So CNN, they're going to give us the facts. These are the facts that CNN is providing. This is an inaccurate and self-serving comparison. To be sure, investigators found problems with both how Trump and Clinton handle classified material, and they both misled the public about their conduct. Okay, so they both had these classified materials that they were mishandling, they both had classified materials and they misled the public. But there are several major differences, as I read on, that break in Clinton's favor. Trump mishandled far more classified material. Oh no, not good, Trump. And prosecutors have presented evidence that he knowingly broke the law and obstructed the investigation. So from what I hear, they were trying to say, hey, bro, you got those documents. We're looking for those documents. And he was like, all right, yeah, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm busy. And they was like, bro, what about those documents? And he was like, all right, I'm busy. Just give me a minute. I'll get right back to you. And, so they eventually came to get the documents. But as I read on, presented evidence that he knowingly broke the law and obstructed the investigation, while FBI concluded that Clinton did not act with criminal intent. And that's all they write. The FBI concluded that Clinton did not act with criminal intent. So they went on to say exactly what Trump did, but they just say that the FBI concluded that Hillary did not act with criminal intent. And they don't go on. They start talking about where Trump went wrong. On Tuesday night, Trump baselessly concluded, da 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 da. So, and I'll actually read to back up what I was saying earlier. On Tuesday night, Trump baselessly claimed that Hillary Clinton broke the law and she did not get indicted. So he's saying, what the hell, man? She did that and I did that, but she didn't get indicted and I am. So that's what I was saying earlier. And I brought this up because CNN did that so decent fact check that they kind of just left vague as far as Hillary Clinton. They just say FBI concluded that Hillary Clinton did not act with criminal intent, and they just don't. That's the end of the fact. That's all you need to know. But our good friends over at PolitiFact had a little bit more to say about that. So Trump. Here, I'll just read what PolitiFact had to say because they do this pretty well. The FBI investigated 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton over her use of private email server where she was Secretary of the State. So she had this email server from when she was Secretary of the State. The investigation revealed that a Clinton aide, but not Clinton herself, in 2 instances destroyed some of Clinton's mobile devices by breaking them or hitting them with a hammer. In an attempt to permanently delete archive files, her staff used a free software program called BleachBit, which wipes data from computer servers. Neither Clinton nor her team used physical chemicals to remove the information, as Donald Trump has colorfully described. So whenever he said this, Trump's an idiot. Someone in the back probably told him, all right, bro, this is what happened. they used bleach bit, and the stuff that they couldn't, and after they used the bleach bit, they banged it with hammer. They banged the cell phones just to make sure that they wiped it clean. All right, go hit the stage, tell the people what you need to tell them. And then he goes on stage and he's like, they poured bleach over the cell phones and then they banged the cell phones with the hammers. And it's just like, okay, no, that's not exactly what happened, but it's kind of close. He's an idiot. I'll admit that, you know. So PolitiFact, the reason why I brought this up is because PolitiFact was so, they actually contradict, or they do contradict what CNN had to say over here, because CNN, Clinton didn't get found guilty with doing it, but her fucking aides were definitely doing some nasty stuff, you know. So I mean, CNN, you could have definitely, you know, included that in your nice little facts first section. I just wanted to. So thank you, PolitiFact, for giving us the full detail. But so far we got Donald Trump has, you know, documents. Biden has documents. Hillary Clinton has documents. Bill Clinton has documents. They even said that Mike Pence have documents. Everybody's got documents. What's so important about Donald Trump's documents? So once again, we're going to give a major shout out to Dave Smith over at Part of the Problem, as he pointed out this transcript, which I think is just one of the most revealing things right now out there about this whole documents case. And more will, I'm sure, come up. But let's see here. So this was a recorded conversation at Trump's Bedminster in New Jersey golf club. So I guess two people working on an autobiography was talking to Trump, and he was kind of flexing these documents recklessly, they would call it. You know, this was supposed to be off the record. However, somehow it still made its way to the record. It always does. But there was a point in time. So I'll just read what this what ny1.com has to say about this. The name of the article is this is Spectrum News New York 1. And these are transcripts that show Trump calling a document highly classified, seemingly undercutting his defense. All right, anyway, all right, so let's start from here. So I think this is where it all starts. In the transcript, Trump is discussing a New Yorker article in which Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley said that he was concerned Trump might order a military strike against Iran in his final days as president. Milley said that he instructed the Joint Chiefs to ensure that Trump did not issue any illegal orders. All right, hold the phone. Wait. So this guy, Mark Milley, who's he's Joint Chiefs Chairman General. So that's high up in the military. This dude's got some clout behind him, but he's definitely under the president, directly under the president. So he's saying that Trump wanted to bomb Iran in his last days of presidents. So Milley had to instruct the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which is not right, behind Trump's back. Even if Trump did want to bomb Iran, that's not your job, bro, to go behind his back and ensure that this did not, well, I guess, issue any illegal orders. I don't know. But last time I checked, the president is the captain of the ship. If he said, you know, whatever, that's neither here nor there. I'm not trying to make Trump look bad. This is what Milley is saying. He said that Trump wanted to bomb Iran. I'll read on. Upset about this article, Trump said that in the recorded conversation a document he was holding related to an attacking Iran was created by the Defense Department and Milley, according to the transcript, which also suggests he showed the documents to others in the room. So they're mad because he was showing these documents. and I'll read what Trump had to say about these documents. Well, with Milley, let's see that. I'll show you an example, he said. Or excuse me, I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't that amazing? The transcript said, I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look, that was him. He presented this to me, or he presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. That was him. That was the Defense Department and him. I'll read on what Trump is saying. We looked at some. This was him. That wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff, pages long. Wait a minute. Let's see here. I just found this is amazing, isn't it? This totally wins my case, except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. Look at this. This whole thing was done by the military, given to me. So, Trump has a pile of papers. He's talking to these two people who's, I guess, writing a autobiography. And they bring up this conversation between Mark Milley, General Mark Milley, and the New Yorker comes up. And Trump gets upset about the article and says, I have the paperwork right here where they presented me with the paperwork to send military strike on on Iran. That wasn't me, he says. That was them that wanted to send military strike to Iran. So it's a finger pointing game. This is. But one guy, Mark Milley, is saying one thing and Donald Trump is saying the other thing. But the difference between the two of them is one of them has a piece of paper saying that what he is saying is true. So there's a lot to this. Number one, why are we trying to bomb Iran? I don't want any more wars. I'm sure you don't want any more wars. But moving on, why is what's held in the documents not being talked about? These folks, we're talking about the seriousness of the charge, what happens next. Things could drag out potentially until after the 2024 election. X factor, fact checks on his claims. But what about this transcript where he's saying they wanted to bomb Iran and he said no? Why are we not talking about that? I could give a fuck about these documents. I'm going to keep it real with you. The two most important issues for me right now in my household is the potential for World War III with Russia and China, because things are heating up. They are escalating at a very fierce pace. So that's an issue to me. And then after that is the economy. I don't give a damn about documents, whether it's Trump, Clinton, Biden. None of that stuff affects my day to day. Now, just as far as a piece of paper goes, but as far as this conversation where he's saying that they wanted to bomb Iran, now that's big. Now we're talking spicy. And I don't see anyone besides Dave Smith, and if I miss someone, I apologize, but I don't see anyone talking about this. I see them calling him a traitor. I see them calling him a threat to democracy. I see them calling him all sorts of things. But in this instant, it looks like he was standing in the way of a war. Here, let's see. So the latest polls have Trump beating Biden. General election, Trump versus Biden, 45-39. It kind of seems like they're trying to sandbag his opportunities to win this election, because if it was held tomorrow, it looked like he would win. It looks like they're just trying to find anything to get him on, because the Russia thing didn't work. Like every little tactic, the tier just keeps going down as to what they can get him for. And now it's some documents that seem to work in his favor. Yeah, he was recklessly showing them off. But if I had someone in the news saying shitty things about me, and I had a piece of paper saying otherwise, and I'm supposed to be off the record, I might need one person to feel me in the room. Like, bro, do you feel me or do you feel me? Look at this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can kind of see where he's coming from. Just keeping it real. But as far as rules go and all that other shit, if you want to be a rule follower, he's not supposed to have these documents. He's not supposed to be flexing these documents. But it looks like plenty of other people had documents, and there was no issue about it. So let's talk about the issues that I wanted to talk about. What is Trump saying about, let's see here, the economy?
As you gather with family and friends this weekend, everything is more expensive, a lot more expensive.
This is 3 weeks ago. So I guess the beginning of June. Yeah, first week of June. Memorial Day weekend.
Actually, because of Joe Biden's reckless policies that have caused soaring energy costs and currency inflation like our country hasn't seen for over 50 years, this Memorial Day gas prices are up 48% since Joe took office. That's right, 48%. Food prices are up 18%. Airline prices are up 41%. Taxes are higher than ever. Interest rates for mortgages and car loans have put the American dream out of reach for countless millions of families. Meanwhile, in the Joe Biden economy, real wages are down 25 months in a row. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. In fact, it's the longest streak on record. The typical American family this Memorial Day weekend has lost an average of nearly $7,000 a year in purchasing power because of Joe Biden's failed presidency.
Okay, I'm not gonna sit up here and campaign for Trump, but like, all shit aside, if you can't financially feel the difference between this orange guy being president and the other guy being president, then like, come on, bro, keep it real. It's him being Joe Biden being president has made it such a tight squeeze for everyday folks like myself. The average college student. I'm not a college student. The parent, whoever, bro. The average folks are not doing as well as they were when the orange guy was president. And you can blame it on COVID. You can blame it on the war in Ukraine. I think this guy's got something to say. I think there's a little bit of meat to what he's saying here. Like, come on, man. Like, when this guy was in office, the economy was booming. And I'm a server. I work in the restaurant industry, so I'm a server. When people have money, they come out to eat. People aren't coming out. People aren't spending money. It's a tight squeeze for this country right now. And this guy Biden is not doing anything to help that. In fact, and do a little bit of research, look up what Biden has to say about the economy. Biden says that the economy is stronger than ever. So you can believe the guy who's saying that the economy is stronger than ever, or you can believe the guy that's saying we're headed the wrong way. I'm going to believe my bank account. I'm going to believe my pockets, which are not looking right. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to believe. Like, disregard what either one of these guys has to say. I know when this man, a couple years ago, I was doing a lot better off than I am right now. And that has a lot to do with these policies that he's put in place. You know, and it's just simple mathematics. If the gas is through the roof, I got to pay more to get to and from where I'm going. If the gas is through the roof, it's going to cost more for my foods and my goods to get where they're going. As he mentioned, airline travel is high. Everything is through the roof. And this man says he's got the solution. What's the solution? He wants to drill oil. He wants to go back to being energy sufficient for ourselves. Because on Biden's first day in office, he shut that down. And I'll dig deeper into that on another episode, what he's done to this economy. But, you know, so that's huge in my household, the money. You know, over here, we like the money. We want to know what's going on with the money. This guy's saying all these numbers. I'm going to leave the numbers out of it. I think it's clear to anyone that the economy was doing better when he was in there. I don't have to argue this anymore. I'm not even going to waste any more of my time. But like, let's look at what he had to say about the war in Ukraine. Now, they try to spin this around like he's the bad guy. Trump won't say who he wants to win Ukraine war during CNN town hall. This was recent. This was like last month. So they're saying he won't say, you know, could it be Putin who he wants? You know, they're kind of alluding to that. But this is what the man had to say.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying, Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be, and they should equalize.
All right, so let's unpack what he had to say there.
Can you say if you want?
So he's saying, I'll start with the second part because it seems pretty selfish of him to point out that money in a case like that. But there is something to that. Europe, you're on the same field as they are. You know, you're on the same land that they are. Why are you only putting in 20 million or 20 billion, he said, and us all the way across the globe is putting in 170 billion into this war? That's kind of wild. That is kind of wild. I'm not even going to lie. 170 to 20 bill? That's a lot of money. Okay, in comparison. But she tried to get you with this gotcha moment. Oh, you won't say who you want to win the war? He's like, it's not, you don't win wars. Neither side wins, lady. Neither side wins. People are dying. Young men, women, everyone are dying over there. And you got the nerve to be asking who I want to win. You know, and it does sound like some kind of sales pitch. I'll end it in 24 hours. It does sound a little cliche. It does sound like something you see on late night QVC. Give me 24 hours and it does sound like some kind of scam. But I think there's something to that. As I've said before, I think there are people who are trying to prolong the war. I think there are people who make money off of blowing these people up to smithereens and destroying these countries to a point where they'll never be able to rebuild. There are people that benefit from that, and they're in the government right now. And according to this transcript here, the orange guy, Trump, is one of the people that's against these wars. Look, I've said it before. When JFK was against the wars and against the CIA and all that stuff, that he magically wound up dead. I think those people did it. I'll put my tinfoil hat on. I think the CIA killed JFK. Now, I think they got a new game today. Today, they do character assassination. They can't just kill Trump like they would 50, 60 years ago. You can't just shoot somebody in broad daylight and get away with it. You know, so they'll vilify you instead. And they'll make you out to be the bad guy instead and attack you from every angle possible. And then if somebody even speaks your name in a brightly fashion, they're made to be out a villain too. If you go to one of your coworkers and say, "Damn, you know, I feel like under Biden, I'm making a lot less money than I was under Trump," or "I feel like this country has just, been suffering these last few years." You say that and people look at you. Are you saying what I think you're saying? Yes. In fact, I am. I think that this man was a better option than what we currently have. And as I've said before, I almost voted for Biden. I didn't vote at all, but if I were going to vote, I was going to vote for Biden. It's time for us to keep it real that this man, Biden, is not doing well for this country at all. At all. I'm not even going to argue it anymore. I'm moving on. Like, I don't have time for this foolishness. He has the nerve to be running again. You haven't destroyed enough, sir? I'll take this orange man back any day of the week. And it seems like from Real Clear Politics, 45% America agrees with me. 39% is undecided, or there's some people that hasn't said, but 45 to 39, Trump's winning. All right, I think that this whole, documents thing, yeah, there is some juice to that. But I don't think it's the kind of juice that they're selling. They're trying to say he shouldn't be able to run for presidency. I want to know more about why the hell we're trying to bomb Iran. And while we're at it, the guy that was stopping that bombing Iran, get his ass back in office so we can stop the war in Ukraine too. That's how I feel about that. All right. I think that's enough for today. As you can see, our government is very shady. And I'm not saying that Trump is not guilty. I'm not at all taking his side in this. I kind of am. But I'm not at all jumping to his defense on this. I'm just saying, if I had these transcripts where I was made to be seeming innocent in these documents, and they were trying to take them away from me, which kind of alludes to the way they were taken away from, trying to get them from them. But, if I had somebody talking shit about me and I had proof that what they were saying about me wasn't true, I might be holding on to that too. Especially when it's kind of landing me in court. Now, I don't know. I hope you guys all enjoy, and make sure you give a follow. If you have a Twitter or Instagram or anything, try to find Dave Smith. He's a great follow and also a really funny comedian. And thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.